Yeah, thanks. First and foremost, I uh, must say thanks to the organizers for giving this opportunity to be part of the event. It's a matter of pleasure to be part of this event. Uh, it's always good to interact with young and bright minds who are future of our society, and in whatever manner help them develop their perspectives. Thanks for this opportunity. Very difficult times, so stay safe, everyone who is part of this call. Take care and don't take chance. That is my message. Be Take utmost precaution, because it's very important in these difficult times. Moving ahead with the question that you asked, I think I'll come to the specific skills, but before that, I want to put across a few thoughts that I have about how this whole skill category, skill metrics, the transition that is likely to happen, and it's not a one-time transition that is going to take place. It's not overnight that suddenly, in a very short span of time, we find that everything has undergone a change. In my opinion, it's not going to be that kind of a rapid transition across board, across all sectors in one shot. I think it's a progressive thing that will happen. The substitution, transition, changes will keep coming. And for that, I had thought that I'll share a metaphor that many of us may be knowing. For those who have not heard this, or for those who must have heard but may not have this on top of their mind, I want to share quickly. In psychology, there is a syndrome called frog in the boiling water. You put a frog in a pan, put onto the stove and light up the stove, and the frog is very cozy. Frog feels at home, that it's very comfortable environment, and then water starts getting heated gradually. It becomes kind of a lukewarm, and the surrounding becomes more cozy for the frog. Starts enjoying its very good environment that I am in, and after some time, the water becomes more hot, and the frog thinks that, okay, this is a temporary phenomena. This is likely to go away very soon, and again I will be in the complacence zone that I was in. And then starts the last phase, when the water starts boiling, and after that there is no frog, only a skeleton remains. It's a very simple metaphor, but it tells volumes about the changes which are happening around us. To say that it will happen in future 10 years down the line, I think that will be understatement. It's already happening. We are in the middle of it. Only change that I see is the acceleration rate will undergo a change. Going forward, the pace of acceleration itself will undergo change, and hence I will name specific skills later, but a few trends that I see across all the skills categories, across all the sectors of employment, I want to share, and I want to put across these thoughts for consideration of other panel members as well as audience, in case there is some different thought or supporting thought we can discuss later. I think learning agility as a skill, it's an attribute, it's not a skill. We have not acknowledged it as a skill yet, but I think learning agility as an attribute has taken prominence, and it will take prominence. And why is that? Because the surrounding around us is changing at such a rapid rate, because of technology, because of the business pressures, because of the disruptions which are happening around us. Learning agility of the people, learning agility of the entire workforce is going to be very important. And going forward, if one thing, if I have to really put premium on while selecting people, while hiring people, while bringing them inside the organization, personally and as part of our system, we put a lot of premium on learning agility. Going forward, the second trend that I want to put across to all of you is the value will be valued. What I mean is, all those roles, positions which will create differential value will be valued more. I'm not saying that in past value was not valued. But because of the arbitrage that organizations had in past for various regions, there were other roles, positions, etc. also which were continuing. Going forward, this arbitrage will go on shrinking. As a result of that, because of the competitive pressures that we shall have, this arbitrage will go away, and only those positions, those roles, those skills will be valued which are creating value. So value creation as a trend I see very, very strongly, and I believe that if individually we have to protect ourselves, if we have to stay relevant, then we must move in a direction where we are able to create more value in anything that we are doing. Third is change management as a skill. Since we can clearly see now that changes are going to be here continuously on everyday basis. So any resource which is very adept in adapting to changes around his or her work situation, work environment, will be extremely relevant and valued. If the resource does not, then workforce will lead to obsolescence. And hence, to prevent that, this will be valued that whether the person is having the ability to adapt to the changes happening around that or not, on his own or on her own, rather than being forced from outside. Last two that I want to quickly mention before I close this segment is innovation and creativity as a skill, as part of the job. Earlier, it was thought that innovation and creativity will be a separate department. It will be led and driven by a group of people. More and more, this is coming as a very stark realization to all the decision makers and people who are running the system, that we need more and more innovative and creative people across the organization who can find very ingenious solutions to the problems, because the complexities are growing leaps and bounds. With growing complexity, only thing that can help us is the innovation and creativity of the workforce. So as part of inclusion in the workforce, one of the key things that has been added by several progressive organizations is how much of creativity or innovation index that the person brings to the table. And the last that I want to mention is comfort with data and analytics. Because irrespective of the kind of job that the person is doing, if it's a white collar job, then data, pattern analysis, finding, drawing inferences, analyzing things, and then progressing has become very, very integral. It is no more a separate kind of a function where somebody will drive. That's a different domain where data analytics and technology, etc. is being driven. That's a different part. But as part of the job, any job that the person is doing, data analytics, comfort with that, and adding value through data analytics, that is going to be very, very important. If I can put across a message to all the members of the audience, not limited to only youngsters who are still in their colleges and education and yet to enter corporate, but for everyone, including for people who are in their mid-career or advanced stage in their career. Truly, I believe that what can make people more relevant in future is a very personal quality called curiosity. If we drill down how things are happening as an individual, if a person is curious, if the person has the ability to probe things around him or in the general economy, in the organization, outside, then the development takes place. If the person is not curious, so my message to all the people is, very humbly, I want to put across that curiosity index, we must individually try to improve our curiosity index in everything that we are doing. Thank you.
Jayant, what pace is this digital disruption happening in your industry, and how is it affecting your industry, and how is it affecting your end product, your customers? Can you throw some light on this, please, Jayant?
Yeah, thanks. I think the previous segment was very helpful in covering all the dimensions, and in that, in his response, Vinayji has already covered significant part of digital in the previous segment itself. Whatever is left, let me cover it very sharp kind of insight from. We are a services industry in transport and logistics. We are a port company, and so this is one of the oldest industry that the world has, and it has evolved over a period of time. So one of the important thing that is happening is that we cannot remain away from whatever global trends and changes which are happening, because we are part of a larger global industry of ports, extremely connected, influencing each other. Competitiveness, margins, any other aspect, practices, whatever we talk, it moves together largely because the operators are also transnational, and hence one of the most important thing that we are experiencing, and also we expect to happen, is that the pace of change will be very fast in substitution. So many of the things that we are doing today also in India manually, it will be substituted. That is the first thing that we know. Today we are not accelerating it because there is a labor arbitrage. The wages are low, and still if you model the two, then you get more if you deploy people. Second reason is because we are a populous country, it makes sense to create employment for more people rather than substitute. But an inflection point will come where it will become the other way around, and then substitution will start. So it's today also a lot of mechanization has happened. All the new ports, all the new logistic solutions which are coming up, warehouses and industrial parks and those kind of things are extremely automated. And our peer set would be some of the leading names, international names like Amazon, etc. In terms of last mile delivery, we are not into that, but then in terms of business model, it's very similar. And hence, as an organization, as a sector, we are going very fast in digital adoption. The pace of disruption which is happening is actually mind-boggling because of two reasons. One, this change is not coming from any particular sector or any particular country. Actually, these developments are happening at global level. So many times you will feel that you will come to know that a remote category 2 or category 3 town in Italy, someone is sitting there and developing some kind of innovative product, and because of the nuances, because of features, because of the advantage that it brings, it gets proliferated in no time. So both the development and proliferation is at global level. And that is the stealth that digital disruption brings. It is beyond the geographies and boundaries of countries and physical things. It can be implemented within no time. Hence, as an organization, we have no choice actually, or no organization has any choice but to be at the cutting edge, be at the leading edge. If we do not continue to adopt or disrupt, we'll get disrupted. That's very clear. And hence, digital adoption, digital disruption being caused by every organization in terms of its business model is not a choice anymore. It's an imperative and it has to be followed. As far as industry is concerned, I think it's very exciting time. Digital is very exciting thing that we are living in our lifetime. Anyone who is keeping an eye, who has interest, will find that the things are happening at a pace that if you are on top of it, you will start enjoying it actually. So for industry, it's efficiency. In anything that we do, if we apply our mind, we find that there's some efficiency sitting there, which we need to garner, and we do that. It means more competition because a lot of business models, existing business models, which were basically by monopolizing the resources, natural resources, is getting disrupted. And hence, we have to be very innovative in tweaking our business model so that we do not get disrupted, rather than that it's important for us to grow now through the digital route. Third thing for industry is it opens a lot of opportunities. It truly opens a lot of opportunity of access to markets which otherwise were not available. There were physical boundaries and distances. So growth has accelerated because of that. In terms of product, you asked three things: industry, product, and customers. So let me share quickly my view, and I am also cognizant of the time so that we can hear from everybody. In terms of product, it's bringing more innovation, more new solutions, which we had not thought otherwise. And the customer is really enjoying because it's more of choices that customer is having, more of ease, less of discomfort in use, because these are so easy to use kind of solutions that every customer likes to have those kind of a product. Going forward, I think digital, the way I see it, computers have already become integral part of our life. Going forward, most of the wealth creation will be done by technology solutions, which is whether bots, robots, other digital solutions. Human beings will be doing two things primarily: leisure and pleasure. These two things we will not delegate to the technology. That will continue to do that, and hence there is a lot of opportunity to create wealth there also. And governments, etc., will be mostly engaged in distribution of wealth. That is the next 50 years we are going to. This digital disruption fundamentally is altering the way societies are organized. So for last 200, 300 years, when organized industry came, we were seized with one thing: creation of wealth. I think at a very, very accelerated pace, that equation is changing. Creation of wealth will be more and more being done by machines and robots and those kind of people, and we will be concerned with how do we distribute this wealth. That is a fundamental alteration that is happening in the structure of the society. That is the way I look at it.
Thank you, Jayant. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you for the points that you made. You made a point which is very obvious about the kind of choices that are now available, whether it is on the shop floor due to digital disruption, whether on the shop floor, whether at, on the product side, because you can develop products, new products without boundaries. And of course, customers' choice has increased. You mentioned that human beings are going to be at leisure and pleasure. So Jayant, I'm back to you again with an interesting question. This session is going to be again on roles which are and skills, because you all touched on both in the first section, though. So we will again go back to the same space, but we are really talking about core competencies for a meaningful career. And here we want to focus on these core competencies. You all have mentioned, agility. You have mentioned flexibility. You have mentioned, stuff like adaptiveness. But let's go back to the question that I have for you, which is that the World Economic Forum today predicts that we will need to reskill more than 1 billion people by 2030, because jobs are going to be transformed by this fourth industrial revolution. Now we have a world population of 8.5 billion by 2030 is what we are going to look. Isn't this a bit of an overstatement? So where these additional skill sets, where are they going to be required? And what kind of an industrial wave are we heading for? Is this a completely new world, Jayant? What do you feel?
Yeah, thanks. So I will try to give as short answer to as possible to a very long question.
To a very long question.
Yeah. So let me be very, very sharp in terms of the dimensions that you have touched upon. I think whatever estimate that World Economic Forum has made in terms of the reskilling requirement, I feel it is understatement. It's not overstatement at all. And I will briefly touch upon why I feel so. Because the way things are changing, more and more obsolescence of skills, obsolescence of people will take place. And if we don't believe into it, we need to just look around us, and we should see that how many people are going out of the workforce, not because of their biological age, but because of the obsolescence of skills and requirements that the new workplace is putting on people. Now, the kind of changes which are happening, ready skill will not be there, right? Only way is to rebuild. So far we have been talking of build versus buy. Now the buy choices will be very, very limited, and build over a long period time will be a very impractical proposition. So the third category that we are talking now is the remake. So instead of build or buy, we'll go for a remake of skills. So considering there are three things which are really shaping the future at the workplace. I'm talking only of workplace. One is the technology that we have spoken very elaborate in by different colleagues. So technology will keep shaping it and disrupting established models. Second is the democratization of society. Mind you that we draw our resources, people resources, from the society, and societies across the globe are moving towards more and more democratic norms. Because of that, the way work takes place, the way work happens, the way people are selected, the way people are promoted, the way people are rewarded, everything is undergoing a change. The third thing that is happening is the advent of new generation, which is fundamentally different. These netizens are fundamentally different than every generation was different than the previous generation, but this generation is starkly different in several ways. All of us know that, so I'll not get into that. These three waves or these three trends will keep changing, and as a result, mass scale customization of skills, mass scale remaking of people in terms of abilities and skill will be required. So it is an understatement. I have tried to justify why I feel so. These you have asked second question, where these additional skills will be required. So I think the new needs are being created and new needs are being fulfilled. That is where the new skills will be required. We are having, if you look back 10 years, many of the things that we are consuming today, either in terms of services or product, we were not having access to these things. These are new creations which have come in the world, and that is where the new skills will be required. And you are saying that it's a new industrial wave. I feel it's more of an industrial and services wave. Services will take precedence because, as I told you, that our choice of consumption will undergo a change. It has already undergone a change and it will continue to change. Since the consumption pattern is changing, so more and more services, industrial of course will also undergo change, but the powerful trend will be around services and technology. So I agree with you that we are heading towards a completely new world, no doubt about that. Not that it has been brought by COVID or anything, but COVID, because of the prolonged duration, has accelerated many of these things completely. That is what I feel.
Thank you, Dan.